this message right now, stop what you're doing and pay attention. This is not just another video in your feed. This is a direct warning meant specifically for you. The fact that you found this message today is no accident. It's a divine intervention at the final hour. You've been heading down a path that leads to consequences you cannot yet see. This message has found you because you still have time to change direction, but that window is closing fast. Something inside you already knows this. That quiet voice you've been trying to ignore has been getting louder, hasn't it? I am warning you for the last time. Don't do it. Whatever justifications your mind has created, whatever reasons seem to make sense right now, they're illusions that hide a painful truth you'll face later. The universe has been sending you warnings, placing obstacles in your way, creating delays, all to protect you from what lies ahead. If you continue, this message is the final barrier between you and a decision that will create ripple effects through your life for years to come. The fact that you're watching this right now is proof that some part of you is seeking intervention, seeking permission to choose differently. This isn't about fear. This is about seeing clearly before it's too late. Your intuition led you here because it knows what's truly at stake. Now is the moment to listen to that wisdom. Type, I heed the warning, to receive this message. You are currently on a path that is slowly destroying aspects of your life that you deeply value. This path may look harmless on the surface, perhaps even beneficial or necessary. But beneath the surface, it's eroding your energy, your potential, and your true purpose. Each step down this road feels like a small choice, an exception, a temporary solution. You tell yourself, just this once, I can handle it, it's not that serious, or, I deserve this. But these small choices have been adding up, creating a momentum that grows stronger every day. This destructive pattern has become so familiar that it feels like part of your identity now. You've started to believe that this is just who you are or how life has to be. That belief itself is part of the danger. The moment you accept limitation as normal, you give away your power to change. The path you're on isn't just affecting your present, it's actively dismantling your future. Dreams you once held dear are being pushed aside. Relationships that could flourish are being stunted. Opportunities for growth keep slipping through your fingers, and you've started to believe you don't deserve them anyway. The most concerning part is how this path has become normalized in your mind. What once would have shocked you now seems acceptable. Boundaries you once maintained firmly have become flexible, then porous, then non-existent. Type, I see my path, to continue. The warnings have been there all along, but you've become skilled at dismissing them. Remember that feeling in your stomach when you first started down this path? That was your intuition trying to protect you. The unusual fatigue you've been experiencing isn't just stress, it's your energy being drained by choices that don't align with your true self. Those relationship tensions you're experiencing, they're not coincidental. The people who truly care about you can sense when you're not being authentic, even if they can't articulate it. The increasing distance you feel from certain people is a direct reflection of the distance you're creating from your own integrity. Even your dreams have been sending messages. Those recurring themes of being lost, falling, or searching for something, they're your subconscious mind trying to alert you to the direction you're heading. The universe has been placing clear signs in your path, unexpected obstacles every time you move in this direction. Doors that suddenly close, opportunities that fall through at the last moment. These aren't bad luck, they're divine protection. The increasing frequency and intensity of these warnings isn't random. They're escalating because time is running out before temporary patterns become permanent realities. Before changeable situations become fixed circumstances. Before opportunities for an easier transition disappear. Deep down, you recognize these signs. Your soul has been whispering the truth all along. Type, I acknowledge the signs. To continue, the true price of continuing this path is far greater than you've allowed yourself to see. Beyond the obvious consequences you might be aware of, there are deeper costs accumulating silently behind the scenes of your life. Your vital energy the force that should fuel your dreams, relationships, and purpose is being systematically drained. That's why small tasks feel overwhelming lately. Why joy seems more distant. Why motivation comes in shorter bursts before disappearing again. The natural flow of abundance in your life is being blocked. This isn't just about money, but about all forms of prosperity, opportunities, connections, insights, and growth. These blessings cannot flow freely when your energy is tied up in patterns that don't serve your highest good. Your spiritual connection is being compromised. The choices you're making create static in the line between you and divine guidance. Messages that should come through clearly become distorted or completely blocked. Intuitive insights that could save you years of struggle can't reach you. Most concerning is the impact on your future self. Every day you continue, you're making your future harder than it needs to be. You're creating problems your future self will have to solve. Wounds your future self will have to heal, limitations your future self will have to overcome. The longer you wait to change direction, the more of this precious life energy you squander on a path that leads nowhere worth going. Type, I understand the cost. To continue. Beneath the visible patterns in your life lies a deeper truth, a root cause that drives these destructive choices. The behaviors you're struggling with aren't the real problem, they're symptoms of something more fundamental. This root cause often traces back to beliefs formed during vulnerable moments in your past. Perhaps a time when you were hurt and concluded, I'm not enough. Or when you were disappointed and decided, nothing good lasts anyway. Or when you were overwhelmed and determined, I can't handle difficult emotions. These core beliefs became the foundation for decisions you didn't even realize you were making. They created a false self, a protective identity that makes choices based on fear rather than love, scarcity rather than abundance, isolation rather than connection. This false self feels familiar and safe. It's been with you so long that its voice sounds like your own. When it says, you need this to cope, or you don't deserve better, or this is just how things are, you believe it without question, but this voice isn't the real you. It's a program running on outdated information, designed for survival in circumstances that no longer exist. The real you, the authentic self beneath these patterns, remains untouched by these limitations, waiting to be rediscovered. Recognizing this root cause isn't about assigning blame or dwelling in the past. It's about understanding that your current struggles aren't random or meaningless. They're pointing toward the exact healing your soul needs to evolve. Type, I see the root cause. To continue. You stand at a critical crossroads in your journey, one of those rare moments where a single decision can alter the entire trajectory of your life. This isn't dramatic exaggeration, it's spiritual reality. Certain choices create ripple effects that extend far beyond what we can initially see. The path you've been on leads to a future where these patterns intensify. What feels manageable now becomes overwhelming later. What seems like a small compromise now becomes a complete abandonment of your values later. What appears to be a temporary phase now becomes a permanent limitation on your potential, but there is another path available in this moment. It begins with a simple yet profound choice to interrupt the pattern. This alternative path isn't easy at first. It requires courage to step into the unknown, to feel uncomfortable emotions, to stand firm when old urges arise. Yet this path quickly reveals its rewards. Energy that was once drained by destructive patterns becomes available for creation. Clarity replaces confusion. Authentic connections replace hollow interactions. Purpose replaces emptiness. This choice cannot be postponed. Crossroad moments don't remain open indefinitely. The longer you wait, the more momentum builds in the current direction, making change exponentially more difficult. This isn't about perfection or never struggling again. It's about choosing a direction that aligns with your highest good. even if the path contains its own challenges. The decision before you right now is that important. Type I choose wisely. To continue, you already possess everything you need to change your direction. Within you lies a reservoir of strength far greater than the temporary discomfort of breaking old patterns. This isn't wishful thinking, it's the truth of who you really are. Remember who you were before these patterns took hold. Remember the challenges you've already overcome in your life. There have been moments when you faced what seemed impossible and found a way through. Times when you thought you couldn't bear the pain, but you did. Situations that tested your limits, yet here you are, still standing. That strength didn't come from outside you. It wasn't granted temporarily and then taken away. It's a fundamental part of your being that never leaves, even when it's forgotten. You've been viewing yourself through a distorted lens, seeing mainly limitations and weaknesses. But the truth is that the very awareness that brought you to this message is evidence of your inner strength. The part of you that recognizes the need for change is already stronger than the patterns you're trying to break. This inner strength isn't something you need to build from scratch. It's something you need to remember and reclaim. It's been with you all along, waiting patiently beneath the noise of doubt and fear. When you align with this authentic strength, what once seemed impossible becomes inevitable. Breaking free from destructive patterns becomes not just possible but natural. A return to who you really are. Type I claim my strength. To continue, your current struggle exists within a much larger context. It's connected to your greater life purpose in ways you may not yet fully comprehend. This challenge hasn't appeared randomly, it's a crucial part of your spiritual evolution and a unique contribution you're here to make. The very patterns you're struggling to overcome contain the seeds of your greatest gifts. Often, our deepest wounds transform into our most powerful offerings to the world. Your specific combination of strengths, weaknesses, and life experiences is preparing you for a purpose that only you can fulfill, but this purpose cannot fully activate while you remain caught in destructive cycles. These patterns aren't just hurting you personally, they're limiting the positive impact you're meant to have on others. People who need exactly what you have to offer are waiting for you to step into your authentic power. You've caught glimpses of this purpose in moments of clarity and alignment. Those times when you felt truly alive, when actions flowed effortlessly, when you knew with certainty that you were exactly where you needed to be. Those weren't accidents. They were previews of your potential future. Your intuition has been trying to guide you toward this purpose all along. The discontent you feel with certain aspects of your life isn't a sign of failure. It's your soul's recognition that you're capable of so much more, that you're destined for something greater than the limitations you've accepted. Type I embrace my purpose. To continue, moving forward requires letting go. Certain elements in your life have become anchors, keeping you tethered to patterns that no longer serve your growth. These aren't just external circumstances but internal attachments that must be released for true transformation to occur. You need to release the identities you've outgrown. The roles, labels, and self-definitions that once provided security but now create limitation. The story of who you are and what you're capable of needs to expand beyond its current boundaries. You must release relationships that reinforce your destructive patterns. Some connections were formed specifically around shared limitations. These relationships may feel comfortable precisely because they don't challenge you to grow. You need to release the false comfort of familiar pain. As strange as it sounds, there's a comfort in known suffering that can make it preferable to unknown possibilities. The certainty of current limitations can feel safer than the uncertainty of potential freedom. You must release your attachment to being right about your limitations. There's a stubborn part of the ego that would rather be right about why change is impossible than be proven wrong by successful transformation. This release isn't about forcing or struggling. It's about recognizing what you're genuinely ready to outgrow, then opening your hands to let it fall away naturally. What you release creates space for new experiences that align with your authentic self and higher purpose. the moment of letting go may feel like loss, but what awaits beyond is infinitely more valuable. Type, I am ready to release, to continue. As you begin this journey of transformation, you don't have to rely solely on your own strength. Divine protection is available to shield you during vulnerable moments and create a sacred space for healing to occur. This protection works like an energetic shield around you, filtering out influences that would pull you back into destructive patterns. It creates a buffer zone between your emerging authentic self and the old energies that once held sway over your choices. You can activate this protection through conscious intention and specific practices. Begin each day by visualizing a shield of golden light surrounding your entire being. This isn't mere imagination, it's working with actual energetic forces that respond to focused attention when facing situations that trigger old patterns. Pause and mentally request divine protection before proceeding. This creates a moment of conscious choice rather than automatic reaction. It invites higher guidance into challenging circumstances. Create physical spaces that support your new direction. Your environment carries energy that either reinforces or counters your patterns. Something as simple as rearranging furniture, clearing clutter, or designating a specific area for reflection can strengthen your protective field. Certain relationships naturally extend this protection as well. Seek out people who embody the qualities you're developing, who see your highest potential rather than reinforcing old limitations. Their presence alone helps stabilize your energy during transition. Asking for protection isn't weakness, it's spiritual wisdom. Even the strongest among us benefit from divine support during periods of significant transformation. Type, I accept protection. To continue, the journey of breaking free from destructive patterns follows a natural healing progression. Understanding this process helps you navigate it with greater ease and trust. Even during challenging phases, the first stage often involves increased awareness and discomfort. As consciousness expands, patterns that operated in the background suddenly become painfully visible. This heightened awareness, though uncomfortable, is actually progress. What was unconscious is becoming conscious. Next comes a phase of emotional release. Feelings that were suppressed or avoided, grief, anger, fear, shame, surface to be processed and integrated. These emotions aren't new, they were always there beneath the patterns. Their emergence, while intense, is a sign of healing in progress. The third stage involves identity reconfiguration. As old patterns fade, you may experience temporary confusion about who you are. This identity gap is normal and necessary. It creates space for your authentic self to emerge without the constraints of outdated self-concepts. Following this comes a period of experimentation and integration. New choices are tested, adjusted, and gradually incorporated into daily life. Setbacks during this phase aren't failures but valuable feedback guiding needed refinements. Finally, stability emerges. New patterns become natural, requiring less conscious effort to maintain. Your energy reorganizes around authentic values rather than reactive habits. Throughout this process, progress rarely follows a straight line. Expect spirals of growth where you revisit certain lessons at deeper levels. Each spiral represents not going backward but ascending to new understanding. Type, I embrace healing. To continue. No significant transformation occurs in isolation. The idea of changing entirely through solitary willpower is a harmful myth that sets many people up for failure. Creating effective support systems is essential for sustainable change. First, distinguish between helpful and harmful influences in your life. Some relationships naturally support your growth, while others, even well-intentioned ones, may unconsciously sabotage it. Those who benefited from your old patterns or whose identity is tied to seeing you in a certain way may resist your transformation. Signs of potential sabotage include subtle undermining comments, excessive questioning of your new choices, attempts to trigger old behaviors, or dismissing your progress. These reactions often aren't malicious but stem from others' discomfort with change. Seek out people who embody qualities you're developing or who have successfully navigated similar challenges. Their presence provides both inspiration and practical guidance. They prove through their lived experience that what you're attempting is possible. Consider formal support structures as well-D groups, programs, or professional guidance specifically designed for your particular journey. These spaces offer specialized knowledge, accountability, and connection with others on similar paths. Digital environments significantly impact your progress too. Carefully curate your online spaces, following accounts that reinforce your new direction and limiting exposure to content that triggers old patterns. Remember that asking for support isn't weakness but wisdom. Even the strongest trees need the right soil, water, and sunlight to flourish. Your transformation deserves every advantage you can give it. Type, I seek support, to continue. As you progress on this new path, prepare to face moments when old patterns will attempt to reassert themselves. These moments of temptation aren't failures but predictable and necessary parts of the transformation process. Temptation often arrives during vulnerable states. When you're tired, stressed, lonely, or emotionally triggered. Recognizing these vulnerable conditions helps you implement extra protection before temptation even appears. Rest when tired, reach out when lonely, process emotions when triggered. When urges to return to old patterns arise, remember that you don't have to act on every thought or feeling. Observe the urge with curiosity rather than judgment. Notice its intensity, the sensations it creates in your body, the thoughts it generates. This mindful observation creates space between stimulus and respo.